Hello YouTube, this is Bub's Comics coming at you with a quick little comic haul. We've got a lot to go through today. We've got some keys, we have some personal grails, and we got some slabs, so let's get into it. First off, I'm going to show this quick little Funko Pop collectible that I got from my wife for Christmas. So this is a James Bond in his signature Aston Martin, and he's got that signature license plate BMT 216A, which actually at one time I had a car and I had a Euro plate on the front that had that on it too. So I was really glad that they included that nice little feature on this. It's got pretty good detail down in there. I don't know if you can see real good in there, but he kind of has a body that sits down and holds a steering wheel and has a seat. So instead of just, you know, plopping them in there, it looked pretty good. So there you go. Thanks for that. Get into the comic haul. First we have Nightwing number 41. I picked this up because I met Greg Land about a month ago and got him to sign a bunch of books at a con, and I really enjoy his stuff. And as I say often, you know, I'm excited. I like Greg Land because, well, obviously because he draws well, but then also because he seems to have drawn almost all of my favorite characters. So I really like this costume of Nightwing. It's one of my favorites. I think it looks pretty cool. So there you go. There's Greg Land doing his Nightwing thing. Next we have something. This is going to be a personal grail of mine. I don't expect everyone to go crazy over this, but for me it was a big deal. This is Marvel Collector's Edition presents Wolverine number 1. This was a mail-away comic. This is not a hard comic to get. In fact, they're fairly cheap, couple bucks. You can pick this up. You might even find one in a dollar bin somewhere. Good Sam Keith art in and throughout the book. What's interesting to me about this is that, well, the reason it's a personal grail to me is because this comic was advertised on wrappers for Charlton Chew. I didn't really know that much about Wolverine at the time. I was younger. I think it's from 1992. So I was already a fan of what was going on, but I didn't own any Wolverine comics back then, and I really wanted this one. But have you ever tried to eat a Charleston Chew? Oh my God, I don't even know if those things exist anymore. I highly doubt it. Probably put somebody in the hospital trying to eat those stupid things. They were terrible. They were like some kind of thick, chewy nougat inside of chocolate. It was just horrible. I mean, hey, if you're a Charleston Chew fan out there, I hope you saved a ton of them, because I don't think they're making them anymore, because you know, too many complaints, people losing their teeth. But it was rough, so I didn't like eating them. The only thing good about them was they were super cheap, but you had to buy like the big bar, I think, to get the UPC code that you would send in to mail away for this comic. Pretty sure that's how it was, or at least that's how I remember it being as a kid. So I remember that because Charleston Chews were one of the cheapest candy bars you could buy. I come from a big city, so in my schoolyard, I used to walk the schoolyard looking for Charleston Chew wrappers that I could collect, because I wasn't going to buy them. I was even cheap then. I wasn't going to buy them, but I wanted to own this comic because they showed this picture on the back of the wrappers and in little inserts. This scene, you saw that everywhere, and I just wanted it so bad. And I finally own it. So it's been quite a few years later, right? You know, 16, 17 years later, and oh shoot, 2020. So, oh God, let's not talk about it. So, so there you go, from 1992, and it was a flip book, and it actually has a Spider-Man story in it. So if you're looking for this book, and you see, if you're looking for this book and you see this, it's the same book. So, and a lot of times it'll be advertised as this one, but there's only one Charleston Chew mail away, so this is it. And inside it also has a good Ghost Rider story, and these were real stories. I mean, they were done by the artists and the writers of the time for these books. And it also has a Ghost Rider story and a Silver Surfer story. It's pretty good too. So I highly recommend that. Go ahead and pick that up if you can, and that's my little personal grail for the day. Next we have a regular old key. This is Uncanny X-Men 139. I love the X-Men books in this time frame, and the main reason is because after the relaunch, Claremont took it over with 94. They were just coming hard and heavy with new storylines, constant art changes. This was part of the Byrne run, I think, and introducing new characters, changing the way the characters interacted with each other, and really trying different things. So in this episode, if you will, in this issue, Kitty Pryde joins the X-Men officially, and they give her the name Sprite, and they even make jokes about it, like, oh, she's like a refreshing beverage. It's terrible. But other than that, I'm glad she didn't keep the name Sprite. A couple of changes in this book that, to me, make it a key. Also, it's the first appearance of Wolverine's brown and red costume, or gold and red, or brown and gold and red, or however you want to look at it. His brown costume, this one. It's the first comic where he wears this costume. And they ask him, I think it's Nightcrawler asked him, like, I was meaning to ask you why the costume changed. He's like, well, why not? But if you know your X-Men history, I think one of the reasons for the costume change was because they didn't want to do like the Fang costume. It was too hard to draw. And anyway, there was a cop-out, I think, from not drawing the Fang costume and also not drawing the yellow and black and gold and all that, and blue. So it's pretty cool costume. It is my favorite costume, for sure. Of course, I love the tiger stripe on the side, the traditional Wolverine costume, but something about the brown and gold just has always been something I really love. So that's my favorite costume. Anyway. Another key part of this book is the first appearance of Heather Hudson, later to be called the Vindicator, which is funny because another name change there. Her husband, James Hudson, is introduced in this book as the Vindicator. So he kept that name for a while, and then he eventually settled on Guardian as his main name as part of Alpha Flight and Department H. So anyway, there's a little history on Uncanny X-Men 139. Oh, one more thing. It also has, this is a great key. This book should go for more than it goes for. It's a low-priced key as it stands, but I think it has a lot going for it. It also has a key appearance. It has a retelling or remembering, if you will, like a flashback of Wolverine's first full appearance in 181, and even part of 180, 181, 182, where it talks about his meeting with Wendigo, because Wendigo features in this book as well. So, pretty cool book. The retelling, the flashback to Hulk 181 is really cool, and they do art, fresh art for it and everything, but it's very reminiscent. It's almost like a different camera angle to the panels that are shown in 181. Really, really cool book. If you don't own this book, for all the reasons I've already told you, then you probably don't like the X-Men or Wolverine anyway, so I'll shut up about it. Here's one. Here's Ian Fleming's James Bond 007. This is Permission to Die, I'm sorry, by Mike Grail. This is the third installment. There were 3. I talked to Mike Grail at the last con that I went to and got him to sign number 1 of this book, which I was really proud to own. And I didn't have number 3. And I had found number 1 and number 2 in the wild. And I told Mike Grail about that, and he was really excited because he said he didn't see this book come up often to be signed. And he said, really good luck finding number 3 because it had a lower print run. It was not, the first 2 didn't, set the world on fire. So the third one got a lower print run and was kind of backburnered and didn't have a wide distribution. So he told me it was going to be hard to find in the wild. Of course, I just take that as a challenge. Didn't find it in the wild. I ordered it online, but it was only a few bucks, so I was still happy to have it. And pretty cool book, so now I can go ahead and read the whole story, and I hope it turns out to be good, because I've already got the others. Alright, let's get into some slabs. First we'll show, so all those books I just showed I'm keeping. Next will be the books that I probably are just passing through the collection, but I thought I'd show them off, because if they're slabs, people like to see those. So here you go. First we have Moon Knight. Number 3. This is 1981. It says direct edition, of course. It's got the Spidey head on there. It's CBCS case. I think it's one of their newer cases. It's a newer CBCS case, I think. 9.6 white pages. Pretty nice book. Doesn't really have anything else going, but I find it interesting. I feel like the inner well is kind of wavy in this book. It's not like sealed, like it's got air trapped inside, I think. So that's interesting to me. I wonder what that would do to the book long term. Like I said, I'm going to sell it, so it's not a big deal. But Moon Knight number 3, 9.6 CBCS. I like how they blackened out Moon Knight's junk there. You see that? Look. See? Everybody going crazy about those Batman Damned. You don't have to have that Batman Damned. You just put a little like black mark down there, and then nobody knows what's going on. We don't need to know what Moon Knight's packing. Anybody worried about that? And it's funny because the notes at the top just says Mona Lisa cover. So isn't that nice? Somebody drew the Mona Lisa, and that's what made it special. Moon Knight number 3, 1980. So there you go. And then we have the first of these. So get ready for this. It's a slew. We have Darth Vader number 2. This would be the 2015 run. And this is the second printing of number 2. So this has the old CGC case. This is my first time having an old CGC case. What's funny is that I went to a shop. We had a new LCS pop up near me, and relatively near me, but still about 45 minutes away. But that's close enough to near me. And I saw some of these old cases, these old CGC cases, and I wasn't real familiar with them. So if a couple of things to notice is that on the old case, the side label or top label or whatever you want to call it is on the back, is on top, is like outside the slab, whereas the new ones are inside the slab. Another thing to notice is that they're remarkably thinner than the old slabs, quite a bit. There's a huge difference between that. Also, they are the printing of that is like in gray or like a faded out color, like they didn't make it a bold black. It's just kind of a afterthought to it. It has kind of even scan lines. It looks pretty crappy, really, honestly. It looks terrible. So when I first saw these at the shop, I thought they were fake. I was like, they're selling a bunch of fake slabs. Well, they just take like a PGX slab and then slap a CGC label in there. But no, it's the old CGC label. So anyway, 9.8, Darth Vader number 2. For these printings, they changed the background of Darth Vader. So I think the original one is red, if I'm not mistaken, in the first printing. So for the second printing, they did kind of this bronzy type look. And it's pretty cool. And if you like that, you're going to love this. Here's the third printing in green, 9.8. Here's the fourth printing in purple. What is that? It's a 9.8 also. But wait, there's more. That's my personal favorite too, though. Then here is the fifth printing in like a yellow, also in 9.8. So I think those look pretty good as a set. I really couldn't pass them up. I was happy to get them, collect them all. There's yellow again. There's purple, my favorite. There's green. And there's bronze. So that's it, y'all. I will leave you with, let's see. We'll go ahead and throw that Charleston Chew up there, just because you don't see it very often. And there you go. There's my little haul for this time. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And when you get done watching this video or whatever, read a comic. And don't forget to check us out on Monday nights with the No Faces Comic Chat. And have a good one, and we'll see you later. Bye.